PTSD is a type of mental disorder that affects people who have been through traumatic events such as rape, war, and violence. PTSD makes it hard for people to live a normal life and it messes with their daily lifestyle. Different things such as sounds, what people say, or objects can make them relive that traumatic moment again. This constant trauma makes it difficult for them to adjust to the civilian life. PTSD or post traumatic stress disorder not only affects the person who has gone through the traumatic event, but also their family too. They act a different way after the traumatic event, which basically puts distance between them and their family. Not only does it affect the family or the person who went through the traumatic event, but people who saw the event firsthand, such as someone watching a person get raped or murdered, they can't unsee what they saw. The different causes of PTSD include serious road accidents, violent personal assaults, such as a sexual assault, mugging, or a robbery, prolonged sexual abuse, which could just be violence or severe neglect, witnessing violent deaths, military combat is a really big one, being held hostage, which is more in a terrorist type situation, terrorist attacks, natural disasters such as severe floods, earthquakes, tsunamis, a diagnosis of a life threatening condition such as cancer or any other life threatening condition, or a severe injury or a death in the family, especially close family member. All of these are treatable, but they're not curable. If you go to a psychiatrist and you talk to them about your problems and what you're experiencing and kind of releasing the stress, then it's more treatable, but it's not 100% going to be cured. And it's mostly not going to be cured in the cases of military combat or rape, but mostly military combat because those situations are very stressful on soldiers. Among the veteran population, about 453,000 are unemployed, and this was just from 2016. The breakdown is 60% of the veterans were 45 years and over, 36 were from the ages of 25 to 44, and 4% were from the ages of 18 to 24. And for homelessness, 47,725, or about 8% of the homeless population, are actually veterans. Now, from a study conducted by the Center of New American Security, they said the reasons that veterans are unemployed are mostly due to their aggressive nature, which is coming from their PTSD. Different things trigger their PTSD, and so employers really don't want to take their chances. That, and it's a lack of productivity issue. There's also the problem that some veterans come in and think they have PTSD when in reality they don't actually have PTSD. They think they have PTSD because of a societal norm that when you come back from war, you're normally supposed to have PTSD. So they mistake it that they think certain behaviors that are really normal are PTSD for them.
PTSD is a very large issue within the veterans world. With them coming home from a combat zone, is truly how it affects them. It affects them getting jobs, having a family, and just daily life in general. Now, what researchers have found out and have been proven is to get those veterans out of their comfort zone. There have been test done with VR simulators that have they simulated the actual event that may have caused their PTSD problem, in which to help counteract and cope with that, so they can realize that it's over now and it's time to move on from that. Other ways is medication, certain medication, antidepressants, things that will neutralize certain brain activity in ways to help reduce anxiety, panic attacks, PTSD attacks, depression, etc. Also doing group therapy, getting in large sessions and talking to other veterans about your PTSD. Um,
When veterans come home, they still may face as many uncertainties as they did in war. These brave men and women may be unemployed, homeless, and have mental disorders. In order for these veterans to have a smooth transition to civilization as possible, there has been many organizations created, like the Wounded Warrior Project, We Hire Heroes, and Operations New Uniform. Now, talking about these organizations bring me to our action. In order to help these veterans, we went to the free clothing store, the Veterans Free Clothing Store. While there, we helped the store set up clothing, move boxes, and any other little thing they needed so that the veterans could easily find what they needed. Also, while there, we were able to help and talk to any veteran that came. So why is this the best way to help veterans? Well, because sadly, many veterans rely on organizations like this one to survive. And without people volunteering at small organizations like the one we went to, they wouldn't be able to survive and keep their doors open because their entire goal is to help veterans and not earn a profit. So if these organizations that help veterans can't continue to exist, then we'll be leaving the brave men and women without enough support to return back to society. And by volunteering, we were able to help an organization that's able to reach far more people than we could all reach individually. And if we are able to keep a local organization running for as long as possible, then we will be able to make an important dent in the many problems that veterans face. So with that dent, if we are able to save at least one veteran's life with what we have done, then this was a success. And this action put us in the best position to do that.
we um we volunteered at a really cool place. It was a free shop for veterans. So essentially it was a group of like 10 guys who just go in there and hang out every day. And I would assume that's probably their like group therapy is like instead of going to the VA, they just go in there and hang out. And it was a really cool atmosphere to be a part of. One of the reasons why this meant so much to me is my grandpa was in Vietnam. He just passed away from Agent Orange. And then my brother actually was in Afghanistan, did 2 tours. He was a combat engineer. He just got out of the Army in 2014. So this and just seeing how it affects different people is so big because this thing, PTSD, affects almost everybody in America. It's like something like cancer. Everybody knows somebody who's affected by cancer, and everybody knows somebody who's affected by PTSD. So I think it's one of the things in America that is not like looked at as a big deal, and it's not looked at as it's a serious problem, and it is. And just looking deeper into that and digging deeper and seeing how it affects people, and just being able to talk to people who experience things that we just can't even fathom is amazing. I mean, we talked to one guy who he said that he was in Vietnam and he came back and he walked in his house and his parents didn't even stand up to greet him just because they saw how different he was on the inside. And just hearing that, and this man cried. I mean, he cried telling us this. And just hearing stuff like that, it really puts into perspective how big of an issue this is, especially from that generation. That generation was a group of hard-headed individuals who didn't really care about emotions and stuff, and to see how it still affects them to this day, it's important for us to understand that and try to help and try to get them back to where they can be normal in society and stuff, and it's just something that really means a lot to me, and it really means a lot to the rest of the group, especially Hayden going into the Navy. It was just an awesome experience to get to do that, and I think that if more kids got to witness what we witnessed, then they would have a much greater appreciation for the sacrifices that the military gives for us, and being able to respect them, and just unbelievable, the amount of courage that it takes to do what they did, and what people continue to do. And it was an awesome experience to go and hang out with them, and we helped them. We moved some boxes, and it was just a great time to be able to sit in and listen to them, and try to understand where they're coming from. And it was an unreal experience to be put in that situation, and I'm really thankful that we did this project. Thanks.